Hi guys, welcome back to the weekend preview. My name is Kosi. This time I have a very special one. I have a very big Liverpool guest on the show. Alex, welcome to the Nottm podcast.
Thank you, Cosmas. Was it necessary to welcome me as a Liverpool supporter?
Absolutely, because in the Premier League right now, there is no club making bigger news than Liverpool, and probably I think it's Manchester City because they have had all these sanctions and breaches coming up. But Liverpool, the rate at which you're fallen off.
But we are making news in a wrong way.
Absolutely, we needed someone Liverpool on the show. So I'm going to be diving into all the games this weekend. Make sure you're subscribing and make sure you're hitting the like button as well. Now, we start off with the weekend with West Ham, taking on Chelsea. Both clubs are not really in very good form. I think West Ham under David Moyes this campaign, they will be very disappointed. They had a very good window, but somehow things have not gone in their way. West Chelsea on the other side have kept on buying and buying and buying. They've spent over 300 million in January, but still they couldn't find a goal against Fulham. But now they take on each other in a London derby, right? Yeah. What do you think about West Ham? What do you think about West Ham and Chelsea?
I think West Ham had a bad start in the beginning of the season, but since we are starting the second round of the Premier League, and I think West Ham, they are trying to avoid the relegation.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have been fighting the relegation battle in the first half of the season. So now they want to pull up their socks and maybe find the ways how they can improve and maybe finish amongst the top
maybe top 10.
Top 10, finish in the top 10 because they are used to finish maybe in the 7th position, 6th position. So I think they will try to at least to collect points. You will see they made the Newcastle game, they made it hard for Newcastle to win.
Actually, I think it's one of the best performances they've put in this campaign against a good side like Newcastle. Newcastle will be disappointed that they didn't walk away with 3 points, but West Ham will be very, very happy. After the equalizer from Lucas Paqueta, I kind of felt like they really played well and they didn't allow Newcastle to come onto them like they did in the opening seconds of the game.
I feel that they know that they have to wake up and when it's not too late, because you may wake up when it's late to amend things. So but when you try, you have just started the second half of the season and then you have the opportunity to try and catch up with the teams that maybe had a better performance in the first round of the season. I think West Ham, they know what they need to do, and David Moyes has the experience. He has been in the league for quite some big time, so he knows what to do. Otherwise, even I think last season they weren't that good. So Moyes knows that his job is not guaranteed if he doesn't bring up good performance. So he has to call up his boys, and then they pull up the socks, and then they try to do something better that can make them give them some good points.
Chelsea and Graham Potter this campaign, I think it's not the story that Chelsea fans want. They're also another team making stories and news in the wrong way. They've spent over 300 million. Mikhailo Modric, Enzo Fernandez, Badashel, and so many other players, including the likes of Fofana up front. Can they win their first game after January, after such a heavy window? Can they start winning?
For Chelsea and Graham Potter, it is unpredictable. It is not
absolutely.
Easy.
I think that's the word. That's the word you associate
Graham
with Chelsea.
Potter will win this match because even in the game, you see that it will be very easy for them to win. At times you find that Graham Potter makes things harder for him. Like a game against maybe West Ham, you may see that West Ham is not that better or is good, but then you find that Graham Potter will make West Ham to look more better and maybe say things are hard. Even though he has like a good players, when the Chelsea players on paper, they are good, because when you look at Modric, then you have the Enzo Fernandez, you have the Kai Havertz. When you see their statistics, Kai Havertz is not that is a player who will give you goals each and every
single game. I think his average should be like 12 to 15 games a campaign if he's doing very, very well. And if you play him as a false nine, it means you're looking for goals out elsewhere from the pitch.
Yeah, but apart from Kai Havertz, you may also, suggest or read out some other names like Ziyech is there, then you have a Pulisic is there, you have a Sterling is there, and I think Sterling hasn't given Chelsea anything. Ever since they bought him, he hasn't, lived up to expectations. When they brought in Sterling, like we never expected that much from him.
Yeah, true,
given
absolutely.
that his spell at Man City, by the time he left Man City, he looked like he was, he was past his prime time.
Yeah.
So he came to Chelsea, and you'd feel it that, why did Chelsea buy Sterling? But as, a professional player or a player who hasn't clocked 30, he would give something to Chelsea. Maybe score 5 consecutive games, to score in 5 consecutive games, and also do help the club. But he has been a liability to Chelsea.
Could it be that it's the whole batch of project at Chelsea that is not working out? It's the whole team. They don't have a clicking system yet. They don't have a clicking, starting lineup yet, and maybe that's the big problem.
Sure, it can be, because I can agree with you, because when you look at the just concluded transfer window, you find that most of the players were not certain about their future with Chelsea. You see, Ziyech almost left to PSG and just collapsed on the final day of the transfer window. Even Mount was in the news, that will he start Chelsea or he will make a move away from Chelsea. And there are links to Declan Rice, and they were still looking for many other options, and that means that they have little trust in the squad that is available. So Graham Potter should really do something, and I don't know his tactics. Graham Potter's strength. At times you may not have a better squad, but you may not have everything.
Yeah, but then coach, you have as a manager.
What have you done with the available squad? You
I don't think he inherited the worst squad as compared to what the likes of Erik ten Hag and Jurgen Klopp and maybe Mikel Arteta have inherited. I think he inherited some good players there, the likes of Kovacic, the likes of Jorginho, the likes of, but maybe there is also disruption from Totti Boehly, signing this one, signing that one, signing this one. He just can't find a consistent starting 11. But this weekend, what do you reckon? Can Chelsea find their first win?
Well, I feel that Chelsea, it's not very easy to give Chelsea an away win. Chelsea going to West Ham and
picking up 3 points.
It may be hard for me, and I think West Ham we may see another draw. May get another draw.
I think this is a game where we've seen it last campaign. West Ham almost nicked it, but a goal was ruled out. Was ruled out by VAR wrongfully. So I'm going to go West Ham 1, Chelsea 0. I think they have problems to score goals.
That's bold.
Yeah, they do have problems. But I think Chelsea don't score. That's my point. Chelsea don't score.
But even West Ham, you may look. It's very hard to see a West Ham goal.
Yeah, true,
even Chelsea. So both teams, I feel like Chelsea plays football, and you wonder where would the goal come from.
Sure. I think their creativity has been a huge problem for them.
David Moyes' game plan, whenever he's playing big teams, he tries to first be a little bit conservative.
Yeah,
actually, he can be conservative for the 90 minutes, and then he makes it hard for the team to play. But he doesn't think you have a Bowen who can try out and do things,
run and open up spaces
but
for you.
But even Mikel Antonio
and Benrahma as well, and then Mikel Antonio as well. If you're playing that kind of conservative football,
in the first half of the season, Mikel Antonio hasn't been the Mikel Antonio we know, who used to score and maybe find the 3 goals in 5 games. A Bowen could score, but there is the way David Moyes be more conservative, and then I think it limits some creativity of his players. Because if you have a Paqueta, you have a Bowen, at least we may see some goals coming in there. But West Ham doesn't score, and even Chelsea doesn't score. So I see a balanced draw.
0-0.
0-0.
Crystal Palace take on Brighton. Brighton are in fine form. I think apart from Brentford, Brighton are the other team in really, really good form. They lost Leandro Trossard, but Kairo Mitoma has become the biggest, I think the biggest player right now in the news. Brighton are very, very good at in the market. Crystal Palace this season, they've a little bit dropped off as compared to what we saw last campaign. I think they still have the players, but Conor Gallagher, they failed to replace him. They failed to replace Conor Gallagher, and that has been a big problem for them this campaign. Creativity has been
they have lost some creativity in there.
As well. But it's a game where I feel Crystal Palace can score at the Selhurst Park. It's a game where I'm sure Brighton will find a goal, and I'll go. I think Brighton win this one 2-1. They're just better for me. They're just better. Yes, it's at the Selhurst, difficult place to go to. But Brighton are just flying.
Brighton, they play in they play as a collection. They have that collective effort. It's not a one-man army. You thought that when they lose Trossard or when they lose Caicedo or when they lose they lost in this guy who went to Tottenham. Bissouma, and
but
you find them that as if they haven't lost their
they're absolutely fantastic at replacing
they look so
players.
Good. So I think it's in them. They play collectively. So it's not individual brilliances. Though Mitoma, is some exceptional player.
Yeah, it's been outstanding.
Has been having
and Solimatch as well, by the way, because you thought I think Solimatch has been that kind of guy that has been inconsistent, but under Dizabi, he's becoming more and more consistent these days.
Crystal Palace, their manager is also some guy who at times you think that has the knowledge and has the tactics to win games, but eventually somehow he fails to get 3 points.
I just feel with Pat Vieira, and I could be wrong here. I just feel like he's not been given the right players, the right resources as the manager who has impressed in his debut season. I don't feel he's been given the right players, the right backing he needs. And that's why I think Crystal Palace are afraid. They cannot sack him. But if they can give him 2-3 good players in that midfield, and maybe a centre-back, and maybe a player on the forward line, they can bounce back. But the good thing is that they're not anywhere close to being relegated. Or
actually, that could be also some other standing reason why Crystal Palace is not, getting the result you would think that their manager can maybe afford to get. But they also, I think they need some fresh legs. They brought in some other players like Mateta. But
I think Mateta is not a darling for Vieira. It's not a darling for Vieira.
But he was given some time when he had just come in Crystal Palace, but I think he did not utilize the time he was given. He wasn't that lethal. He was looking somehow blunt.
He signed Albert Samlokonga in midfield, but I don't think he's the kind of player that is ready to play in the mid-table clashes. I'm not really
sure. If you are going to play against World Cup winner McAllister, and then you're
playing Albert Samlokonga, there's difference in quality.
A team that has a flow, they have the players who have flair. So I think Brighton can go and get a win from Selhurst Park.
So I've gone 2-1. You think?
I'll go with a 3-1 for Brighton.
3-1 for Brighton. Brighton do score the goals, by the way.
And they score goals. That's Liverpool. Liverpool knows. They have tested.
Liverpool fan. They've lost Ferguson to injury, but I think Danny Welbeck and Undav can do the job for them. So on Saturday still, Arsenal will take on Brentford. 6 p.m. Arsenal need a win. They've gone 2 games in all competitions without scoring a goal, without winning any. The last game, they lost to Everton, Sean Dyche's debut. We were diced. I think that's the name. That's the word. We were diced. We went in there. 4 midfielders, a masterclass from Dokore, and Onana and Ghana, Gay. But I think this is when Arsenal bounced back. It's at the Emirates Stadium. Brentford have been absolutely flying. The last game, they beat 3-0 Southampton. What do you reckon? Do you think Arsenal will go another game without scoring, without winning?
Well, Arsenal are going to be attacked by a swarm of bees.
Absolutely.
But I feel like this time around the guns are all up. So they can't I don't feel like they'll give any chance for the bees to sting them. So I feel like Mikel Arteta is a manager. I have been following him, and I feel he's that manager who always goes back and addresses the issue. What has been wrong.
Understands. Exactly.
He wants to rectify and maybe work out what hasn't worked in the previous game. Let us sort this, and then maybe we come back and sort of things, because there are games you felt like Arsenal are going to go down. They are going to, have to decline. It's just form. Maybe it's not the tactics of the manager. It's not, but they have proved that. They have been proving, and they have been passing any, examination you give them. They have been passing any tests that have been, going, maybe that have been in front of them, and they have been having the best form. They have been the best team in the Premier League without a doubt this season. They are flying. Well, in a season, there are certain games like an Everton game. Yeah,
Everton away.
You lose such games. It's the second game they have lost this season. From the game they lost against Manchester United, they are not lost any other game. So it is just a game you feel like maybe they have lost that, but they did not play good. But I feel with this one they are going to come at their best. They are going to give in their best. They don't want that loss to affect them psychologically. Maybe to lose any other game. So. With Brentford is a team that gives at time to big teams.
And actually, if you're looking for the best mid-table team this campaign, if not Brighton, then Brentford.
Yeah, we saw last season when Brentford is beating Arsenal actually on the first game of the season.
2-0
actually, and then Arsenal didn't have a good season. So, but with this one, I feel like Arsenal will fumigate the bees. Will fumigate them with 3 goals. With 3 goals.
I think Brentford is a side that right now you cannot keep them from scoring. I think Mikel knows how they play. We saw it in the first game at the GTEC Community Stadium. Brentford non-existent. Sure. We dominated each and every part of the game, but it's going to be different. They are in better form now, and they'll be looking at this Arsenal side as a beatable Arsenal side. They won't be looking at us as this is the mighty Arsenal. How would we beat them? They've looked at Sean Dyche's Everton, and they're like, okay, this is how you beat Arsenal. But still, I think Arsenal will win this game because I don't think Thomas Frank is capable of playing as conservative as Sean Dyche. Sure. I don't think he wants to play open football. He wants to play. You look at the players in that team.
He wants to score goals.
He wants to score goals. You look at the midfield. Vitality Jensen, is he going to be toe to toe with Odegaard? And I don't think his players love their freedom and they love to create chances.
You expect an end-to-end game.
It's going to be an end-to-end. Absolutely.
They don't respect big teams. They feel like we can also win this one. But at the end, they may end up being punished, and then their style of play can also cost them. But we've seen Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta has been exception.
Now the next game on Saturday is Fulham Nottingham Forest, both from the Championship, and I don't think any of them is going to get relegated this campaign. Fulham have been the best team out of the 3 that were promoted, and Nottingham Forest have been the most improved team. For me, in the second part of in the later part of the season, I thought they were going to get relegated, but I'll give a lot of credit to Stephen Cooper, because first credit to Nottingham Forest. They said we're sticking with our manager, we'll back him.
I think Nottingham gained the confidence after that one win against Liverpool.
Exactly.
They won against Liverpool, and I think they felt it that we can make amends for the season. We can do it, and we can stay in the Premier League if we can beat Liverpool. Then why can't we get points?
Get points off these other teams in the mid-table. And one thing you have to think and know is that they're not even in the relegation talk now. They're around. They're climbing the table to mid-table to the top 10.
Actually, it has been one of the busiest clubs.
Absolutely. In both windows.
In transfer windows.
Signing over 26
players. Actually, those are 2 squads.
Those are 2 full squads there. And again, shout out to Stephen Cooper, because integrating those players into the team and then finding an 11 that can play for you, it's not easy. It's absolutely not easy. But they've done really, really well. I think both of them are in some kind of mild form. It's one where I can easily predict a draw. Anyone can predict a draw in this one. It can go either way. Yeah, it can go either way. So I'll say Fulham 2, Nottingham Forest 2. I don't see anyone edge it, but I think we could have a late equalizer from Nottingham Forest.
Well, Nottingham Forest, I feel like Fulham, they feel that they can even qualify for Europa League.
Yeah,
they are in
they've been flying.
Advanced places.
Yeah, they're flying. Really.
And I think their manager would not wish to lose this game or maybe lose points against Nottingham Forest. If there is any game that Fulham feels like, we can win this, they're at home playing against Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest, I think their ambition is to stay in the league.
Yeah.
And I feel like West Ham, they think of staying in the league, but their ambitions can be past that.
Yeah, it is a bit
and
high,
then they can get something better.
Yeah.
So I feel they can win this one by a margin of 1 goal, maybe 2-1 or 1-0.
Yeah, 2-1, 1-0. Yeah, it's that game that I say.
It's a tight one.
Yeah, fine margins. Anywhere it goes, it should be fine margins. Leicester City take on Spurs. Leicester, born again, you could say. I think it's another club that have decided to stick with their manager, and it has worked out. They really, really had a very bad start. I think they have the worst goalkeeper in the league, in Danny Ward, to be honest.
Yeah, sure.
But they've turned things around. Yes, they're still relegation threatened. I don't think they will go down. I think they will be just fine. Spurs are 3 points off the top 4. And they're trying to, regain that kind of form they had at the beginning of the season. Maybe win 5-6 games in a row. They've beaten Manchester City in the last game at home. Can that give them the confidence to go away at the King Power Stadium and find a win against Leicester? Leicester, their last game, they beat Aston Villa, Emery's Aston Villa 4-2. Not very convincingly.
In a game that Aston Villa could have scored 7 goals.
7 goals. And actually, in all the goals they conceded, Aston Villa in that game were totally avoidable. They could have avoided them.
But Spurs, when at the beginning of the season, Spurs is one of the teams I tipped, to put up some tight competition.
But personally, I thought they were going to finish top 2.
Yeah, top 2. Actually, even me, I thought that maybe it would be very easy for them to finish in the top 4. But by the middle of the season, we are seeing them, facing it hard to come into the top 4.
Yeah.
So it's really disappointing for me to see Spurs that, and Spurs hasn't been consistent.
Yeah.
They have been, winning, and then they come onto, you see, a game that is a bit easier for them to win, and then they, Conte makes it very hard for the guys, to score goals. He has a system that makes it very difficult for players that enjoy playing the offensive game. The likes of Son, Son has been, off.
Yeah, so Son has been off, and I think it's one of the things because he's such a key player for them.
Player for Spurs. Yeah, it's one of the things that Spurs has been performing poorly.
Yeah.
And Aleken has also not been seeing those goals. If you have a Haaland who has over 20 goals in a season, and then followed by Aleken is not, he hasn't scored those 15 goals, and we are in the middle of the season. So Spurs are also not predictable, but Leicester is picking up. They want to make amends for the losses they had in the beginning of the season.
For the opportunities they lost during the beginning of the season.
They lost many games.
Yeah.
So now, but I feel like Leicester's defense is awkward. You have talked about their goalkeeper.
Yeah, the goalkeeper is awkward. I think that is what is hurting them from the defensive midfield backwards.
Soyuncu,
that is the biggest
what's
problem.
Wrong with Soyuncu. Yeah. There's a time I felt that Soyuncu is one of the next big defenders in the Premier League, but then
he dropped off a lot.
And then they started benching him.
Yeah.
So I feel like if Spurs, wants to, to catch up with Man United and maybe look at Arsenal, I feel like they can go and get a win from King Power.
Yeah, me too. It's a game where I think Spurs will. Because they won the first leg, was it 5-1?
Yeah, sure.
This one is going to be a little bit harder than that. Yeah, but they're coming into this one with a lot of confidence after beating Manchester City. That should be their season, turning point.
Sure.
So I'm going to say Spurs 3, Leicester City 1.
And I feel okay. I feel Spurs can get in 2 goals there, and then Leicester, I don't give Leicester a chance to score.
You don't give them a chance. I think I do give them a chance. Maddison is back in the goals. Then you have the likes of Tete, the new signing, Harvey Barnes, Inahicho. They could get a goal, maybe.
Avi
maybe
Barnes
one.
is a typical English player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who wastes lots of chances.
And
who plays only 3 games in a
exactly.
among the 10. He gives you only 2.
Yeah. That
games.
is his problem.
Yeah. So you have a Jamie Vardy who is aging.
Yeah.
So I feel like Leicester will survive the relegation, but then this one they'll be beaten. I don't give them any chance.
Okay. Southampton, the worst team in the league, I think, right now.
Yeah. But at least we beat that one, and with the margin of 9 goals. At least Liverpool might win that one.
I think how many games has Liverpool won this campaign?
At least I can remember that one.
Yeah, of course.
We scored 9 goals.
Yeah, I know.
I know any other team has done that.
Yeah, true.
So
they take on Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolverhampton Wanderers is actually coming back. Lopetegui is one of the managers that when I saw him sign for Wolverhampton Wanderers, I was like, this is a disgrace. How is he coming to Wolves? But I knew what he's capable of as a manager, and no hidden secrets there. He's actually done a very, very good job. The last game, Wolverhampton Wanderers beat Liverpool 3-0, and I think they have the ability to win this game with a margin of 4 goals and above. I'm going to go with a heavy win here. Wolverhampton Wanderers 5.
Hey, that is
Southampton 1. And 1 because they're at the St. Mary's, but it should be 5-0. I mean, they're not new. They're not newcomers at conceding big goals.
Sure.
They always concede that heavy number of goals at least a season. So 5-1,
including those 9 goals.
Yeah, exactly.
Scored against them. But Wolverhampton, we have been knowing them for being giant killers.
Yeah.
And making it hard for big teams like Man United, and then Liverpool is the last team that has tested the wrath of the Wolves. So
yeah, I know.
The Wolves' anger,
and in that game, I thought that is the game where Liverpool have been most pedestrian. I've not seen.
Did you watch our game against Brighton? Klopp said that it was the worst game he had seen in his managerial career. But then
before he had played Wolverhampton.
And then after the whole game, he said, "Then I have no explanation for this. It's beyond him." So I said, "Whom should we go to for the answer and the bad performance?" But I feel Wolves, they have not had the best of the season
to start with, but the latter part could be positive.
But you see, they have some good players. The likes of Nunez. You have Epodence. They have that chemistry.
Ruben Neves in midfield, João Moutinho as well. Lamina in midfield as well.
Sure. So I feel like they also want to rejuvenate the season. They also want to come up, and Southampton is always making things easy for any team,
anyone.
And if Wolves, they have these 3 points at hand. So in case they fail to get them, it will be upon them. But I feel like they have the opportunity to go and grab the 3 points.
5-0?
Not that big margin, but I think you can go past the 3. Because if Wolves start scoring, they can score more. And
I think they have so many players to get in the goals again. Hwang Hee-chan, their main striker, the Mexican boy. And then you have to think about players like Ruben Neves and Nunez. Those midfielders.
Nunez is a good driver of the ball.
Matthias Nunez,
he drives the ball, and then he commands the midfield. And then you have Ruben Neves who can also utilize the set pieces, and then brings in the
those
corners,
long range,
long range, those through balls. So I feel like, and Southampton, you give out those spaces, and Southampton, whether Wolves, we use those spaces to go and punish the Sutton. So I feel like it will be an easy win for Wolves. So someone can go for Wolves.
Newcastle are back on Saturday at 8:30. They did play at 8:30 last weekend and shared a 1-1 draw. They have drawn 4 out of their last 5 in the Premier League. But Bournemouth, to be honest, apart from Southampton, they are the second worst team in the Premier League. This is the team where Liverpool nearly scored 10.
Actually, at times when I see Bournemouth, I feel like we are into championship. And
absolutely,
absolutely. I remember that they are into the Premier League.
But I've seen them play in a couple of games, and they've got that kind of vibe of a team that of a good championship side,
Yeah.
but I don't think they're Premier League material.
They're not up to the Premier League.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They're slightly better than Norwich, who are here last campaign. I think they are better. They can put in that kind of fight. They can score some goals.
Because the difference between them and Norwich is that Norwich used to play that, tic-tac football.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they put in some bit of flyer, but
Bournemouth are bullies.
Typical English play.
Yeah, typical.
Just
typical
kick
English
the
football.
ball and we find someone who will be there and then maybe heads into the net, but then it hasn't worked really.
Yeah, Newcastle are looking for their first win in 4 games.
Well,
they've been drawing each and every game. I think this is the game.
It is not talked about much how Newcastle has somehow declined.
Exactly.
Because
exactly.
they were winning some games and winning.
They last lost a game against Liverpool 2-1 in August. That is their last loss.
But then they have been making some draws. Really,
they've drawn so many games.
They could have won the game, like the last draw they had against West Ham. They got their goal so early, and then they failed to add on to that goal and win the game. So Newcastle. But I feel Newcastle also, they feel like they can finish into the top 4. And they can still push it. And Bournemouth, it is a team that has been making things easy for
everyone. For anyone that wants the points.
There is no difference between them and Southampton. If it's there, it's a slight difference. And then Newcastle is a team that has some mission in there, and they have invested in a lot. So Ed Howe couldn't afford to lose a game against Bournemouth. Really, Bournemouth isn't a team you feel like
you lose to.
Can give hard time to Newcastle. It's not a West Ham. It's not a Man United. So Newcastle has the chance to go and get also the 3 points.
I'm actually reckoning that if Wolverhampton Wanderers don't score 5. Newcastle will. Yeah, Newcastle will. I think Bournemouth is at that stage where if you're serious, you can put 5-6 past them. Because defensively, they're a shambles. Yes, they do score a couple of goals. Like, they can manage 1, 2. But the problem is that they cannot defend, even if it's a lead. They cannot. So I'm going Newcastle 4, Bournemouth this time 0.
Yeah, I also feel that it's not the time Newcastle rather Bournemouth is going to wake up from the slumber and then come and maybe shock Newcastle. I feel like Newcastle can score 3 goals against Bournemouth.
3-0?
Yeah, 3-0. Bournemouth cannot score a single goal against Newcastle because Newcastle has considered actually the least goals in Premier League. True.
They have the best defense in the Premier League. Sure. Now, this one is a copy and paste fixture of what happened in midweek. Leeds United, Manchester United. 2-2.
And I feel like a Man United fan wouldn't wish to hear Leeds that they're playing Leeds again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when their midfield is still
they don't have Casemiro and Eriksen. Actually, Leeds United played very well in some parts of the game at the Old Trafford, but Manchester United were heavily dominant, created so many chances, had 23 shots on goal versus Leeds 8. And then Leeds only had 2 shots on target, and both of them went into the back of the net. But now at Elland Road, what do you think?
Well, you give credit to Leeds for going at Old Trafford and making things hard for Man United.
Without a manager.
Yeah, Man United has been flying, so, they have been flying so high. And then you feel like Casemiro did one of the stupidest red cards you can see
stay away
in the Premier League. Then Anthony wasn't involved in
didn't play that game as well. But Jadon Sancho played very well.
And also Max Rashford
as well.
Continued with his form.
Good form,
But Leeds has also not been that, consistent.
They're really shaky, and I think that's the reason that's why they sacked their manager, Jesse Marsh. They bought so many good players, but they moved from 17th to 17th. And that's why they decided we want someone who can bring that progressive, that progressiveness. And Jesse Marsh was sacked.
But if you are Man United and you are playing against Leeds again, and you have a Ten Hag, I think Ten Hag could have realized what he needs to do and which buttons to press to beat Leeds. So when you are going at Elland Road, I think it's we can't see many errors that Man United committed when they are at Old Trafford, and give Leeds a space to score 2 goals against them, especially when you have a Varane and a Butcher.
Lisandro Martinez.
And
both goals were courtesy of mistakes, because Varane's own goal, and then the first goal they give a lot of space to Nottm, and you simply cannot afford to give players that space.
It's a matter of avoiding such errors at Aaron Road, and then you could see Man United can get some 2 goals again against Leeds, because I don't feel like Leeds defense can contain.
No, they can't.
Hungry Max Rashford, and then the Devils. When the Devils are hungry, you know what can the Devils do when they're hungry? So I feel like it's going. They can punish Leeds for what they committed at Old Trafford. I feel like Man United can win this one by 2-1.
2-1. I would also reckon a 2-1, but I think it will be just 2-1, but it will be very, very comfortable game for Manchester United. Very, very comfortable. I think Eric Ten Hag knows what to do. Now, Manchester City lost to Tottenham in the last weekend. Aston Villa did lose to Leicester City as well over the last weekend. Both teams meet at the Etihad Stadium. Now, Aston Villa is one of the few teams this campaign, or many, if you want to put it that way, that have gotten a point off Manchester City. In the first game, it ended 1-1. It could have been 2-1 because Coutinho's goal was ruled out for offside while he was onside as well. So Manchester City, but they're looking to bounce back, number one. They're looking to close that gap between them and Arsenal. If Arsenal win against Brentford on Saturday, this game comes in on Sunday, they will find themselves 8 points behind Arsenal. They cannot afford to drop points again, because then they will be playing Arsenal in midweek. So if they fail to win over the weekend and fail to win in midweek, the title is running away. So can Manchester City surprise us and go with kind of a 5-0, 6-0, that kind of thumping, that kind of reaction that they've always had when they drop points?
Well, last weekend when the citizens went for a tour, they were caned.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this time around, they're back home. In their city, in Manchester.
They've been so brilliant at home.
Well, and this fixture reminds me of the last fixture in last season where
you wanted to win it.
We wanted to win it. And then we felt like it's coming.
How bad was that? How bad was that for Aston Villa to lead 2-0 only to lose the game 3-2?
It's Steven Gerrard's fault, I think it was his inadequate tactics.
Yeah, absolutely. Because for me, he should have started game management right then.
Because I remember that sub when he was leading 2-0, and then he substituted Coutinho, who was their best player, and then he brought in some nigga there, and then the Manchester had to eventually turn the result, and then they won the match. But with this one, Unai Emery, when Unai Emery came onto Aston Villa, he had changed something.
Yeah, he changed a lot. They're actually a much better side.
Yeah, and they won a couple of games in there. But Man City's dressing room is also not that stable. We saw in the last game, Guardiola benching De Bruyne, and everyone was surprised.
And then Joao Cancelo to Bayern.
And they say that he's not in good terms with Phil Foden, one of the best players. And so it won't be an easy game, but you feel like there will be goals in there. There will be goals, more than 4. So I don't know which side they'll go, but I feel like Man City is not going to win this one. I feel like Aston Villa it's not going to be with Unai Emery up against Guardiola. I see a draw. I feel like a 2-2 draw is in there. So
2-2 draw. City have been so good at the Etihad. They're so good. They've dropped a couple of points, but that has been on the road. I think they desperately need this one. It could actually affect them that they want to get back within range with Arsenal.
Yeah.
I don't see how they fail to win against Aston Villa. It's a game they should win. So I'm going to go Manchester City 3, Unai Emery's Aston Villa 1. I don't see how. I just
you don't feel that.
I just don't feel Manchester City.
But me, I have a feeling that Aston Villa will make it hard for Man City, because Man City isn't the Man City we used to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not that flying team that could make things easy. Yeah. Grealish is integrating into the team, and then the Guardiola is trying to change the lineup. He's playing with the Lewis at the back.
Yeah, actually, I think the squad rotation has been his biggest problem in one of his most challenging seasons.
When it's unnecessary, a player comes up and puts up a good performance, and then the next game is benched. Kevin De Bruyne is not into the team, and I feel like even the players, I don't feel that they think they can win this one. They are like, they are off, and then they are not into that. They are not playing with that. With that urge and with that charisma with a team that wants to win the trophy. You can't see it right now. So I feel like Aston Villa can even not play that good game, but they can get those 2 goals again up against Man City.
I think with Unai Emery's sides, scoring goals never a problem. The problem is defending.
And it was the same problem with Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard could find goals, but even when he's leading 3-0, you can see that they're going to score. The opponent is going to have many goals,
many
in
chances
there.
on your goal. Now the weekend wraps off with your favourite, the Merseyside derby. Is at the Anfield this time. Jurgen Klopp, with so many Liverpool fans still backing him. I think he's the most backed manager in a crisis. I've not seen so many fans behind their manager in a period of turmoil. Liverpool are literally doing everything wrongly. They're not creating chances. They're not governing games. They're not defending well. I cannot pick one good player for Liverpool in the last 5 months. It's very, very difficult for me. Maybe Alisson. Maybe.
Aston had a good performances in the beginning of the season and then the first half of the season. But when we have come into the second round, and after Virgil van Dijk picking up that injury, you felt that just Alisson Becker was left, with a back line that
he's
so
too exposed.
It is they look so I don't know, lack of a better word, they look so sluggish. They look like they are not training.
Matip and Gomez for me has never been an option. When Konate comes in there is a lot better. It's a lot better. But when you play Matip and Gomez,
it beats my understanding and my mind why Liverpool has kept Matip for that long and Joe Gomez. I think for Joe Gomez it's understandable. He's an English lad. He's at home, so
backup kind of guy. Robolding vibes at Arsenal.
He's a homeboy. Let him work. Let him have a job. Let him hand from here. That's the kind of feel you can feel for Joe Gomez. But for Matip, I don't know, maybe they are friends with Jurgen Klopp. But Liverpool has been going down. Yeah, absolutely.
I think Liverpool will need a massive squad rebuild starting this summer. They brought in a few panic buys, and I thought I think that is also going to create many problems because they have overloaded the attacking areas now. When all these players come back, they'll have so many attacking players, but then they will not have players in midfield.
They are working. They are trying to to correct and rectify the mistakes, but then they are targeting departments that are not so bad off.
Exactly.
Because the actual problem is in midfield. The engine room is so blunt. The engine is it is not performing. If Fabinho lost and is off, we only have a Thiago Alcantara.
Actually, I think Thiago and maybe Harvey Elliott, because I think.
Really, when
Javi has been a little bit...
when a team like Liverpool and you say you are competing against Aston, and then you say a player that will lift the club is Avelio, then that's a joke. It's a joke because you have a Jordan Henderson in there, and you wonder, because I don't see any footballing reason.
Captain fantastic, Jordan Henderson.
Sure, that's a joke also because because realistically, when we are realistically speaking, there is no footballing reason that is bringing Jordan Henderson onto the pitch. Apart from wearing the armband and getting picks with the other captains, with the other teams' captains, there's no big reason. Because I have seen captains that stand up when a team is is in a bad run, and then the captain can stand up and then be said, "Let me take this free kick." I remember I was watching the last game, and then we got a free kick in the last minutes of the game, and then Jordan Henderson came onto the ball. I thought that this is the captain's time. Let him go and put in this free kick inside. And then he came on the ball, looked at the ball, looked at the guy, and he walked away. But surprisingly, he didn't go into the box maybe to score a header. But he walked away and he stopped along the way. And I was like, what is he doing there now? what is he doing there? Realistically. And then these days he's not starting the games and he's coming off the bench.
Yeah.
And you wonder what is he coming to do?
Yeah.
Because whenever he comes in, the opponent scores another goal. It's another opportunity for the opponent to score. And I feel after Everton getting that win against
Arsenal with the Sean Dyche vibe. Actually, it's a game I want to see. It's a game I'll be watching very, very keenly because I want to see will Sean Dyche then try to take advantage of Liverpool, or will he stay conservative and play his, a point is enough for now, kind of game. But I think it's a game of two very poor sides. That's what we have to say.
You see,
very poor sides.
At least you saw Everton on the weekend when they had Idris Gueye there.
Yeah.
They had Onana in there, and also this Dekole.
Abdul Dekore as well. And
then
it will be four midfielders.
And they're energetic.
Energetic. They run. They work hard. And they step you. They kick you. They do everything.
And with this midfield, Liverpool midfield, I don't think they can do something. They can come up with anything that can scare Everton. Because with Sean Dyche, and even when Liverpool was flying and playing better football, that pressing game, they could face it hard against teams that were into so much conservative. When the team, they are so preservative and they are not coming forward, Liverpool could not find the ways and they could not find those spaces to score the goals. So I feel Everton could come up with that tactic. And as long as you get the early goal, because we have seen Liverpool giving up the goal early. In the 12 minutes.
They've been scoring, they've been conceding, fast goals, and now they're conceding early goals as well.
We saw Wolves getting 2 goals in just 12 minutes of the game. And then our front three is really damp. They are so blunt.
What do you think about Mohamed Salah first? Would you bench him for some 5 games and maybe just take the pressure off him and and when he comes back, he could be a better player, or you just need to play him because he's your star guy?
Well, for Salah, I really feel it. It's so hard for me to say let us bench Salah because at times you feel like there is that period for any player when the goals are not coming in. Yeah. But Salah has been getting some assists and some goals in there. But it was used to play when they are connected.
Mane, Salah, Firmino,
and then Salah and Mane were flying, onto the when they are using Firmino. The Firmino was so crucial. Firmino was that fundamental.
As a false nine,
as a false nine.
I mean, he creates a lot of spaces. He creates a lot of lanes to run into, to pass into.
Yeah, and Salah, well, he is off. But then you look at the squad and you say, who is better than him? Yeah. Will I bring in Harvey Elliott, who has no, Harvey Elliott or Jones, they have no focus. Yeah. They look like they are playing like they don't have any objective or goal. they are just playing like we are here just to play. Yeah. So they are not enjoying. But I see Liverpool is losing another game. I feel like Everton is going to put Liverpool down again. They're going to put them more.
I think Sean Dyche will understand that this is the hardest ground in the Premier League to go to. I think apart from the Old Trafford, and I don't think I would rather go to the Old Trafford and not go to the Anfield. It's a difficult environment.
But it's not that Anfield like people used to know.
I know.
After losing that Leeds game.
I know. But Liverpool will also be looking at winning the Merseyside derby, at least.
I know there will be no mercy, but it will be mercy. But there will be no mercy for Liverpool, and the Toffees will make Liverpool walk alone again. They walk alone. I feel like we're going to walk alone again because we've been walking alone for some good time now. Even Eze games, Jurgen Klopp Liverpool has also been not. They've been looking worse. They have been the second best team.
Yeah,
in every game.
Yeah, in every game. Yeah. Is there a question to be put on Jurgen Klopp? Is he overcomplicating things? Should he focus on the basics now, or it's just the players letting him down?
Well, we with players, you feel like the players are worn out. Players, sure. they have tired legs, not only legs, but even their minds look so tired. Yeah,
because to be honest, Liverpool played every single game that was available to be played last campaign.
So
4, was it 3? finals.
Yeah, we had
actually 4 finals because
finals.
you went to the last day of the Premier League.
The last 5 games of the Premier League were all finals.
Yeah.
So you find like we played over 10 finals.
Over 10 finals. And also you've got to think about it. Could it be also that Liverpool failing to win maybe the 4 or at least 3 out of 4 trophies, or failing to win either of the major trophies, could it have affected them, mentally, and the players became a little bit.
Somehow it costs you. Somehow it has the way it costs you. But we saw them losing the Champions League final, and eventually in the next season they went on to win the Champions League final.
As well, yeah.
So you can't rely on that. Well, it can be said, but you can't rely on that. But you look. Players are over 30. We have many players in there that are above the age of 30. You look at Jordan Henderson is 30 plus. You look at Matip is 30 plus.
Thiago.
You look at James Milner is retired but he's still on the club. You look at Thiago Alcantara is 30 plus. Mohamed Salah is 30 plus. Then Van Dijk 30 plus. Firmino 30 plus. Yeah. So you look at Virgil van Dijk 30 plus. So when players are into their 30s, well, you feel like you should have maybe you reduce on the number of those players that are above 30, and then you bring in some fresh legs in there. We have been affected by injuries, but that is something you can't be talking about, and maybe you say it's one of the reasons you're not getting the result. As a manager, you have to find ways.
It's part of football.
Because you can't say you failed to win a single game against Brentford because you have players that are injured. Because we think that Liverpool's second 11 could at least match Brentford, rather Brighton.
Brighton or Brentford.
But you feel like even if you're playing Brighton looks better than Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez has been committing mistakes, but then we haven't seen Jurgen Klopp benching him. You have Nat Phillips, who there does nothing at the club, but is there earning. You have an Oxlade-Chamberlain in there. You have a Naby Keita who just wastes time. He's always injured. Maybe they pay for him for occupying the sick bay. So you can talk over 10 players that are not supposed to be at the club. So I feel like they are into a bad time. Before you chase Jurgen Klopp, you have to, maybe you feel like you should chase away the whole of the team.
The players first, and then
the manager. But somehow even the manager has been so lenient with some players because you say Pep Guardiola make decisions because you own this team. You have the mandate to choose who will be playing and who will not play, which transfers can we make. But there have been 3 seasons, rather 2 seasons, and we are not bringing in midfielder. We are not bringing in any midfielder. So. And it has been the problem. Why don't we bring in a midfielder? We are talking of Bellingham and then they take him. You talk of Tchouameni and then Madrid come and sign him. You talk of...
I think and the fact that Liverpool is linked to Bellingham and Tchouameni, it shows that they know the problem.
They know the problem.
They know... exactly.
They know the problem because when we are coming through the season, before we purchased it down in Nunes, all the guns and the looks were pointing at Tchouameni.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought that when we lose Tchouameni, we shall go in for any other midfielder. Amrabat was there.
I think I think they are very good midfielders. You have Ruben Neves at Wolves.
You bring him for some time and then maybe sort on the problem. But when you have sorted the midfield, and with that midfield I saw against Arsenal, and Arsenal, with Arsenal that has been a better team, and then Everton makes things hard for them. I feel like Everton will go and win the match. They have taken long without winning it. And then this is their time to win it.
I think it will be a very close 0-0 draw. I think Everton will have their chances, like 2 or 3, but they will not score. And I think Liverpool will not create chances in this game. It's a game where they will be frustrated by Sean Dyche. So I'm going to go 0-0.
Whenever I see a Matip and Gomez combination, I feel like they feel relaxed after the opponent scores. So after the opponent scores, then they say,
they relax.
So I see an Everton goal in that for starters. So and then we shall see the rest. But I feel like Everton will win this one 2-1.
2-1. Yeah. I wanted to ask you one last question about Darwin Núñez. He's the kind of guy that has the most number of expected goals in Europe. He's getting in very good positions. He's running well. He's bullying defenders. He's not scoring the goals. What's the problem? I mean, do you think if he was scoring those goals, Liverpool would be in a better place maybe?
Well, because in the games that he has failed to score, it hasn't ended 0-0.
Yeah, true.
At least we have been.
You've considered 3-0.
3-0.
But then the number of chances he's also getting in games is mind blowing, because at times he gets like 3 1-on-1s or 2 1-on-1s, and then 2 half chances.
Well, Darwin Núñez came at Liverpool with expectations, and he's into some pressure. He's putting himself under pressure. I don't know why. Maybe because they feel like he came to replace Sadio Mane, who has been, who is a legend at Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool, yeah.
And then it's not very easy to fit into Mane's shoes. But at times at times you fail to defend Darwin. There are goals that he misses, and you feel like, why did he shoot this one?
Yeah.
Why didn't he go for a cross? Why didn't he go for a pass?
Maybe a square pass or something.
Why didn't he do this? And then you feel like, there's a video I watched, and when Thiago was telling him, you could have done better, you could do better, but because by going by the prices and they purchased the guy, you see, there was so much expectations, but at times I feel like, you can buy something and then it doesn't work out, and then you go for other options, and maybe you leave it and say, this one hasn't worked for me. I saw Arsenal, their biggest transfer, Pepe failed to do things, and also even Chelsea bought in a Timo Werner. Timo Werner was making chances.
Actually, Chelsea, it's a whole line of strikers: Torres, Timo Werner, Lukaku. I don't remember the last time they bought a striker.
But they never stopped trying. They never stopped going for other.
I think they will sign another striker. They will sign another striker.
But Downey is on to pressure, because maybe if Salah was scoring and Liverpool was winning, we couldn't be talking much about him, like he's missing if a team is winning. But if a team is not winning and you're missing chances, then it brings in some questions. So why maybe what the cause why the team is not winning.
Do you see him as a player that will eventually thrive when he comes down, works on himself? Do you see him as a player that can eventually thrive at Liverpool?
Well, maybe when the